This week on the UB Football Insider Show with Lance Leipold, we'll say bye-bye to the bye week and get ready for the second half of the season that starts for the Bulls at Akron on Saturday. You'll meet the UB linebacker who is the toughest and smartest guy on the field, and Coach Leipold tells us about a new project in the works for the football locker room. Plus, we go on the road with women's soccer. It's the UB Football Insider Show with Lance Leipold, and it is time to kick it off. Looking, now has to roll to the right, throws to the end zone, caught, bullseye, Dominic Johnson. Rush coming, Rourke doesn't see it, ball, recovered by the Bulls. Van Treese throws, none, catches, 10-5, bullseye. Well, Coach, you're coming off the bye week. It falls right smack in the middle of 6 games in and 6 games to go. What was the focus for you with your team during this off week, knowing that you have this back half of the schedule still to play?
Well, first of all, Paul, we wanted to give them some time off and let their bodies heal a little bit, mentally give them a little break of things. Give some guys a chance to get a little healthier, but also some guys that are in the 2 deep, maybe a guy that's maybe third string, kind of rotating, kind of give them some extra work, help develop our depth a little bit more. Get back to fundamentals even more than we do on a weekly basis on some things. And then, last week on Thursday, we were able to scrimmage our younger players and guys that really haven't had a chance to play live football, so to speak, for a while, and get a chance to keep evaluating them. And that was good. And as a coaching staff, we had a chance to self-scout a little bit, look at ourselves in depth, where our tendencies are, what we can do to break that, and also had a chance to get out and do some recruiting.
All right, well, when you did some self-scouting, and if you started with the defense, there had to be a lot of things that are going to make you feel good. The Bulls defense is ranked number 1 in the MAC in total defense, number 2 against the run, number 3 against the pass. What has worked so well for your defense through the first 6 games?
Well, I think, from that Liberty game on, we stopped giving up some big plays. We still have some things to improve upon, but I think it all starts up front. I'm really happy with the way the front four has played. I think we've had solid linebacker play, even though Tim Terry, Matt Awanowski have been the most consistent guys out there for us. Now we've gotten Gaddafi right back on the field some. James Patterson still in a holding pattern. But we've been able to use those guys in different ways. I think the play of Joey Banks in the run game has really helped elevate our defense, and hopefully we can continue that.
The offense on the running side, number 2 in the MAC. A lot of good things have happened with Kevin Marks and Jared Patterson, but you have said it, offensively you want to see more explosive plays. Give everybody a little idea of what you mean by that.
Well, explosive plays, you always look at, whether it be runs of 15 or more, pass plays of more than 20, or combinations thereof. And for us, an explosive play can still be a screen pass, or it can be an inside run. But also, I think we're back to some of the things we were maybe during the 2017 season, where we've got to take some more vertical throws down the field and do some things. Whether that was to Antonio Nunn, maybe like Penn State game, and some things like that we were taking some shots. Making sure that our play action was, there, and whatever it takes for us to get that ball down there. So we're running the ball well, as you alluded to, but eventually you're getting more and more people around that box area to kind of stop the run, and we've got to keep people honest.
All right, well, the second half starts on Saturday with a trip to Akron, Ohio to take on the Zips. It's a 3:30 kickoff. You can hear it on ESPN 1520. You can see it on ESPN+. The Zips have struggled. They are 0-6 this year under new head coach Tom Arth, who, much like Lance, comes from a Division III background as a player and head coach at Division III John Carroll University.
Well, I think certainly in this league, long-standing tradition of, coaches that have come up from Division III to the Mid-American Conference and have been extremely successful. And Lance is a fantastic example of that. Somebody that certainly I admired from afar, when he was at Whitewater, and, when we go to clinics and, he'd be speaking, I'd be sure to, to be in there and listening, because what he accomplished there, was amazing, and you see that coming to fruition now at the University of Buffalo, and it's exciting. It really is. I think everybody that has had their experience at at a smaller level, I think we always kind of rally around each other and get excited when people from similar backgrounds do really well, and Lance has done that, and I'm really happy for him.
Well, that was very nice stuff that he said about you, and there's a kinship amongst you guys, isn't there, from having both been at the Division III level?
Yeah, I may have to, write him a check or something when we come back. But
wait till after the game. Before
exactly. Well, Tom's an outstanding coach and a great person. And the first time I really ever heard about him was the 1 year at Whitewater that we did not make the playoffs, and they started to make some of their playoff runs, and they played one of the schools in our conference, and happened to just watch that on a ESPN3 and had a chance to really learn about him and what he's done. But you're right. I can remember upon taking the job here at Buffalo, at our national convention, the amount of coaches that kind of come up and say that they're pulling for you because they would like to continue to see lower level coaches get these type of opportunities, and Coach Arth has definitely earned his opportunity.
All right, so it's been a struggle a little bit as he's made that transition to a new system and new players and a new place at Akron. They have struggled to an 0-6 start right now, trying to kind of find themselves a little bit. What have you learned from diving into the game tape of the Zips?
Yeah, for any of us that go through that, there's a transition period, whether it be schematically, whether it goes through why change was made, and where there might be a depth issue, and they go through some things, because this was a team just a few years ago was in the conference championship game, but he's putting his stamp on it. They're still talented and athletic on the perimeter. Cato Nelson has played a lot of football in this conference. He's very elusive, one of the more mobile quarterbacks in our conference, in our division, and and defensively, I think they have probably thought of by many to be the best tandem safeties in the league. Now, I think our two safeties have really started to make names for themselves as well. But these two guys, for them, Featherstone Davis, they cover well, they support the run well. Davis has been a multi-year all-conference player, and so they have some pieces there. And like many times in that first year, you're just looking for ways to put it together.
Cato Nelson reminds me a little bit in some ways of the quarterback you just faced in Nathan Rourke, is that he is equally as good a runner as a passer, but when things don't go his way in the passing game, he just tucks in and runs, and he's hard to bring down, isn't he?
Yeah, that's one of those that you think you got a clean shot on him, and then he misses, and then all of a sudden he's scrambling for 15 and another first down. He's elusive. He keeps plays alive. And when they made that run to win the division and play for the conference championship, he was a big part of that through a quarterback change and kind of changed things up for him. So we've got to be sound. We've got to make sure we're bringing our feet, and making sure we're keeping the right leverage, that if he does have to step up, it's going to be up into the pocket, not outside.
All right, that's all part of the Town Auto Keys to the Game for Saturday's contest between Lance's Bulls and the Akron Zips. Again, a 3:30 start in Akron, Ohio. Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Coming up, head coach Lance Leipold takes us through a fundraising campaign for a state-of-the-art football locker room. That's next on UB Football Insider.
Game day returns to UB Stadium Saturday, October 26th, with the UB football team host MAC opponent Central Michigan, presented by Forno Napoli.
20, 15, 10, bullseye!
Before kickoff, enjoy a tailgate concert by local band Never Been, food trucks, kid-friendly entertainment, and more. Round up your friends and family, wear your best blue and white, and get to UB Stadium to cheer on the Bulls. Kickoff is at 3:30. For tickets, call 1-877-UB-THERE or visit UBBulls.com.
Welcome back to UB Football Insider. This segment is presented by CEFQ, changing lives every day.
Well, Coach, we want to dive a little bit into something that is important and something that you pay a lot of attention to that has nothing to do with the X's and O's of being a football coach, and that's facilities. There has probably never been a time in your coaching life where it occupies as much time as it does now, and we want to talk a little bit about some of the ideas that you have regarding that.
Yeah, facilities are important for the current players that you have in your program, of course, to give them the best experience, the best resources, and that you possibly can within financial means. And also it helps you with your future in your recruiting. And it's kind of an arms race sometimes, as people refer it to, but I think we've done a great job of making it within reason of where we're at in the Mid-American Conference, a Group of 5 school. But it's still important to make sure that we've been improving. And from the day I was hired, Paul, that was going to be a key to what we were going to be doing to take the next step as a program.
Well, I know some of your focus on that front is on your locker room, which is where your players probably spend the most amount of their time. So you have some ideas of what you'd like to try to do with the locker room. Give everybody an idea what you're thinking about.
Yeah, we started this probably last spring of really getting serious about how we want to try to do it is renovate the locker room and get us some up-to-date lockers in today's I guess college football world, and some of those things can be ways to keep your make it more comfortable. I mean, that is going to be part of it, but also to do a better job for your equipment and drying of your shoulder pads and all the pads that you have. And guys who have ever played at any level know, sometimes the odors of a locker room and all of that between the sweat and
putting it very nicely.
Yes, and
Lance,
yes. And there's a lot of things that you can do to make it better for them. And like I say, it's such a year-round place for our young men now that and the time that they spend in there, it's important to update.
And I know part of this is going to be the opportunity for you to reach out to Bulls fans, but more prominently ex-players who know what it's like, who know how important this is. That's all part of your plan here, isn't it?
Yes. The first focal point of in the fundraising, campaign is to reach out to our former players and give them an opportunity to be part of this project and donate to it and have the opportunity to have their name on a locker and hopefully it's one of those that I can remember myself as a player, Paul, that there's a lot of things that you remember and have good laughs and memories, good, bad, wins, losses, all those. But a lot of those memories are things that usually are conversations or things that are part of locker room experiences that hopefully our former players can reflect on and want to make that a great opportunity and move our program forward.
All right, Lance is looking to make it a state-of-the-art locker room for his Bulls. If you're interested in more information or interested in being a part of this project, visit ubbulls.com.
Coming up, it's a Bulls digital biography. Linebacker Matt Otwanowski shares his UB football story.
Welcome back to UB Football Insider. This segment is presented by Town BMW, the official auto partner of UB Athletics.
Welcome back to the UB Football Insider Show with Lance Leipold. My name is Paul Peck, just outside of UB Stadium. Bulls senior linebacker Matt Otwanowski played behind and learned from star Khalil Hodge for 3 years. Well, now Matt's got his chance, and he's making the most of it, both on and off the field.
I'm Matt Otwanowski, number 42 linebacker on the football team.
Barrett steps up, floats one short, and Dixon is driven backwards. Otwanowski.
I always wanted to play because my dad was a high school football player and he was a coach. You have to rely on all the other guys around you and just like the brotherhood that you build in the locker room, and I think that's really what inspired me to play football.
Matt is from LaPorte, Indiana, the same hometown as former Bulls offensive lineman Trevor Sales, who anchored the line from 2012 through 2014.
Growing up in LaPorte, I knew when I was close to Trevor Sales. Lived down the street from his family, so know his family, went to school with his sister. I actually had some conversations with him about UB, big help in deciding to come here. Trevor Sales was probably really like the first one to be on scholarship at a Division I school. Not too many kids from my school did. My coaches saw that potential in me. I started playing varsity my sophomore year. I played linebacker since middle school. I didn't get recruited by UB until kind of late in the process. At that time, I was originally committed to Kent State. Coach Hensel was recruiting my area, and once he called me and just looked more into UB, talked to Trevor Sales, and I just thought it was overall just a great fit for who I am. I started out as a business administration major with a concentration in finance, and last year switched that to accounting. The accounting program here is pretty difficult. I'm so happy with like the support that I've gotten from professors and academic support staff to help. I'm always there as a resource to help guys if they need help planning or studying, anything like that. Like what Coach Sleeve said, that we should live principle-based lives. If you're going to work hard on the field, you should also work hard at everything you do off the field. That should just be a part of who you are.
For his first 3 seasons, Matt backed up Khalil Hodge, who is third on UB's all-time tackle list.
Playing behind Khalil for 3 years, I really learned a lot from him on the field, his work ethic, and just that like leadership mentality. I can learn from that and just really bring up others around me, be who I am, but also learn from what he did. James Patterson, seeing the way that he comes in here and works every day, he's really humble, really tries to bring other people up. What he's done in 1 year, I just can't imagine, the type of leader and the type of player he's going to be as a senior, and I think that everyone can learn from him.
In 2016, inspired to help others, Matt signed up to be a bone marrow donor.
I think it was my freshman year, we as a team signed up for the Be the Match registry. I got a call early March saying that I was a match for someone to donate. I guess like the odds are 1 in 430 of you being a match, and I just thought I had to go through with it. It's a big time commitment. I don't know who the person is. That guy probably has, a family or something, and then I can, give my bone marrow, my time to help prolong his life. And I just think it's an ultimate form of servitude, and really excited to follow through with that. My favorite play for myself from last season was when I started against Kent State, knowing the preparation, the time that I put in to be able to get a tackle for loss on the first play of the first game I started. I just want to leave a legacy, be a leader, and leave absolutely everything I have out there. And as a team, we're all here to win a MAC championship.
Well, currently, Matt is your third leading tackler. He has started all 5 games. He was very patient having to play behind Khalil Hodge. But in reality, are there some things that he learned from playing behind a great player like that?
Oh, I think so. I think he's learned in preparation. But Matt's always been about preparation. I think one of my favorite stories about Matt was, I think it was his true freshman season, and he would come back the next day for practice in fall camp and tell Coach Simpson where there were typos and missed stuff in the notes and that about, well, hey, I don't really think this is the right gap. And, but he's a guy that's studying it and knows and those things. And then, but again, he's such a quality young man. And the fact that, like you said, having patience and waiting, no matter how talented the player ahead of you is not something that we see every day in college athletics anymore. And he really handled things well.
There's always an old football cliche that middle linebacker is the quarterback of the defense. Is that one of the positions where not only do you have to be, but it's almost a benefit to be as cerebral and smart and analytic as Matt is?
I think so. And, Matt will tell you he's not the biggest and he's not the fastest, but the cerebral part of it is what makes him such a good player. Your middle linebacker and your safeties really got to be able to see things, recognize things, and then communicate them. But Matt has been, I'll tell you, and I think last year, if you remember when Khalil had the targeting call and had to sit out the first half of the Kent game, Matt got his first opportunity. He made the first 2 tackles of the game, and then played the rest of the game and showed really what kind of player he's done. But he's also had a couple of tastes of playing at the will linebacker spot and all. Even though he doesn't practice it very often, it goes again. And there's a guy that knows the complete defense and does it well.
He is a finalist for the Campbell Trophy, which is essentially the academic Heisman given out to college football players. So if that doesn't illustrate exactly what you're talking about, I don't know what is. Certainly, Matt has been incredible on the community part of it with the bone marrow donation. Is he just one of those guys you love to be around as a coach?
Yes, you do. And it's not to take away from other guys, but, there's a young man who lost his father at a very young age. He and his mother's, really have to give a lot of credit to her and the job she has done raising him. But he's a young man with great morals and values in life and wants to be, and wants to make people proud, and he's really stayed focused on his goals and his preparation and everything, not between academics, football, giving back, doing things, and like you said, we're very fortunate to have him in our program.
He has led the way for a linebacking core that has seen lots of transitions because of injury, but has allowed some younger players to step up. I want you to talk a little bit about what Tim Terry has been able to do and some of your other players who have been asked to do more than maybe we thought.
Right, and Tim Terry's a guy we haven't talked a lot about. He may get a quick mention here and there, but through the injuries to James Patterson, Gaddafi Wright, Tim Terry's played a lot of football, a lot more than really any of us might have anticipated. He can play both outside linebacker spots. He's done it well, but he's played more snaps than we anticipated, and he's really done a great job of holding up, and he's a very talented young man, and we've been waiting for him to take the next step in his game, and I think he's done it, and looking forward to see what he does the second half.
All right, more steps to be taken for Lance, the Bulls, the defense, Matt, Tim, and the rest of the guys. 3:30 on Saturday at Akron as the Bulls start the second half of their season. Coach, good luck.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Coming up, we go on the road with the women's soccer team for their conference win over Ohio. UB Football Insider will be back after this.
This is UB Football Insider, presented by ECMC, the difference between healthcare and true care.
Welcome back to the UB Football Insider Show with Lance Leipold. My name is Paul Peck. It was a great weekend for the UB women's soccer team. A big win at home against Kent State on Saturday, and then an important victory at Ohio on Sunday. What was it like to go on the road with a women's soccer team? The game was fun, and so was the road trip.
Coming live from Panera. We got our soufflés coming out, hot and fresh soon, ready to devour it.
When you put the work in, you get rewarded for it. That's a fact. But you don't get to pick and choose when you want to work. You get the opportunity and you're on the field, you have to work. Because somebody's waiting to come in when you get tired, and they'll do the same thing. And if we get that across the board, you're gonna be successful. But you gotta put the work in. It's the only way you're gonna get rewarded. No team will hand it to you. It's the stuff that the three of us talk about and we notice all the time. But that's the difference between winning and losing. And when you do more of that, you get rewarded for it. You've been rewarded for your work today. All right, enjoy this one. Well done.
Well, the football team will make its own road trip to the Buckeye State when they play at Akron on Saturday. It's a 3:30 kickoff that you can hear on ESPN 1520 and you can see on ESPN+. The MAC's a bit of a jumble right now, and that's good news for the Bulls, who have a chance to make some noise in the final 6 games of the year. We'll recap it for you next week and preview the home game against Central Michigan on the next edition of the UB Football Insider Show.